Welcome everyone to the Star Talk. This is a series by Stellar Furniture where we will be bringing the people from the industry, the veterans and the leaders to get a slice of their knowledge, their expertise, their opinions and their understanding. The motive behind this series is to bring the best of the knowledge for the fraternity members so that we can all grow together and thrive together. In this series of the webinar, joining us today is Ruth Panayotti, Purchasing and Procurement Coordinator from IPSA, IPSA, the leader in office furniture industry in Honduras since 1969. Ruth represents third generation of this family legacy, having joined in the business 2 years ago. With her keen eye for sourcing and procurement, Ruth is dedicated to upholding IPSA's, or I would say IPSA's tradition to the excellence while driving innovation to their offerings. Having their established business in Honduras, they have recently expanded with a new store or showroom in Guatemala as well. So welcome to the session, Ruth. Thank you so much for joining us today, first of all.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, everyone.
Great. I hope before starting ahead, just wanted to check we both are clearly audible to everyone else. If we are clearly audible, people can just write in the chat, give us a thumbs up, or in between if you are facing any sort of audio problems. Since our chat window is on, you can just ask us to hold on and fix the audio things before we move on, right? I think it is audible to everyone else. Great. Thank you. So Ruth, before we start with our question answers, so basically just to structure this conversation, we have a lot more to discuss with you and a lot more to know from you. First of all, we have planned few questions from our side that would be really helpful for all of us and our listeners to know about the insights of the industry, because since you are running a successful furniture business in Central America, and since you are the person from the third generation and into a legacy business, so there are many people who wanted to know how you have been doing this business, what is your business all about, and how you have taken a leap or grown into the Guatemalan market now. So if you can just please brief everyone about your business once, please.
Thank you. Okay. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. So as he mentioned, I'm Ruth. Well, our business started back in 1969 when my grandfather founded IPSA. We started off as only manufacturers for metal office furniture, and that was it for us for many years. And we were very well known for it, for great quality, for our durability. And when my father came into the picture and my uncles came into the picture, the market also started to change. That was the second generation. And we started seeing people were importing and new designs were coming in, and that very basic design of metal office furniture was not going to be the future for us anymore. And so we decided we had to pivot. And I would imagine that one of the concerns that my father and my uncles had at the moment were, well, are these foreign suppliers going to meet our standards, and are they going to be just as great quality as the one that we're known for? Like, we've already been 20 years in this market, and is this going to be still the case for us? And so about 15 years ago, roughly, that's when Stellar came into the picture for us. And since then, they have been our largest supplier, and we've had such a great teamwork together, and we've grown so much together from the beginning. They really checked off all the boxes. They had great quality, the prices, the working out the MOQs with us. You know, we were starting off with importing, and not every supplier can work out stuff like that with you. And that's really thinking win-win since the get-go. And so, as I mentioned, we worked very well together throughout the years. Thankfully, I can say I'm now third generation. I'm now the purchasing coordinator. So I also have a good relationship with all the Stellar members. And I mean, so many businesses, in fact, studies show that about 13 to 14% of businesses are the only ones that get to the third generation. And we're very proud to say that we are part of that statistic. And although it's so many things involved that mean if you're going to go into the third generation or not, one of the biggest ones is if you're able to adapt to a changing market. And I would say Stellar has been key to this part of the growth with us. You know, they really have helped us keep up with the changing market with their new designs and their constant innovation. So that's where our growth has gone from with them. And we still uphold the name of leaders in office furniture in Honduras. We still uphold the name of having the greatest quality, the greatest prices. And because of this, we have decided, well, now it's time to grow even further. And that's when the idea of opening in Guatemala came in last year. We just opened this year. We're starting off, and hopefully everything goes really well in there.
Great to know about the overall journey. 1969, I believe that's more than 55 years. So it's a huge legacy that you have maintained and carrying on, and with a big responsibility of serving to the so many customers in so many years with maintaining the quality and overall. I remember somebody told us that for every particular business, everything starts with, first of all, that how from where the goods are coming in. I believe in last 55 years, you have been the crux of your business, or the core thing of your business is basically sourcing of the right furniture. Then only you will be able to sell it to the customers. For a market like Honduras and sourcing office furniture and any other category of the furniture, it is from different locations internationally would be a little challenging job. Maintaining the relationships with the suppliers, just like you have mentioned that you have been doing this business with Stellar and many other suppliers. So if you can just tell us more about how sourcing is important, what kind of support or basically what kind of relationship you maintain with the suppliers and how it is important for running a business for so long years.
Yes, so like I mentioned, really thinking win-win all the time. When I'm even like starting with a new supplier or working with a supplier you're already working with, the win-win mentality really gets you far. Thinking also like being very vocal about your needs, being very vocal about, well, the quality in this furniture is great. Maybe there was an error in this one. Constant feedback, both sides. And also when searching for new suppliers, you always should think, of course, quality, the flexibility, timely deliveries. That's a big one, you know. When you're thinking about importing from sides of the world, China all the way to Honduras, timely deliveries are going to be key for those big projects that we have. Customability, seeing that your supplier is also innovating constantly. Those are all key things to keep in mind.
Understood. Well understood. Since everybody knows who know you and who have been knowing about your business, we also understand that apart from selling directly to the customers, you are also involved in the business where you are taking care of large-scale commercial projects, which is like the turnkey projects where customers basically give you the overall contract and you have been planning, sourcing furnitures for them and giving them complete end-to-end assistance. If you can elaborate a little bit more about that business, how the sourcing for that business is happening and how do you manage smooth delivery for all of them?
Yes, it really is from start to end thing. So we have to source, then we deliver, and then we install. And of course, with the sourcing, that's when Stellar comes in for us. And I'm very glad that we're very confident that when a customer comes in with their specific needs, and you know, each customer is so different, we are able to offer them what they want, since Stellar offers us a variety of furniture, and we can trust that what we offer to the client is going to be quality. So, and that we will make it in time, since Stellar is very committed to their timely deliveries too. So that's where Stellar really comes in the sourcing. And then when the furniture comes to us, is delivered to us in a timely manner, we also make sure to deliver it to our client in a timely manner and install it by our side. But Stellar really does, play a key role also, because the customization that it has offered to us in the most recent years allow for these new projects that are very unique to be able to be executed.
Understood. Rightly understood that relationship with the suppliers specifically play a pivotal role to source furniture and complete such mammoth projects, and also to the delight of your clients is very important. We all know that you have been, since you are into the business in so long years, so you have been managing a diverse portfolio in your offerings to the customers, right from the home furniture to office furniture and also into the medical furniture. So handling different sort of markets and handling different sort of mindset of the customer is sometimes challenging. How have you been managing 3 different verticals altogether? And also, how have you been managing the changing dynamics in all 3 sort of markets?
Yeah, so office furniture, as I mentioned, is what we specialize more in. And that's where we have basically kept most of our portfolio in. But yes, we have tried to get into different other markets like home and medical. Medical was more like a little bit pre-pandemic, and then during the pandemic, that's when we took off. And I think it's part of that strategy. During pandemic, offices were not being used, so where did we have to go? Medical. And Stellar really helped us get into this new market that we weren't very much familiar with. And what we discovered was that, well, office furniture, it is very profitable. It is the landscape can be intense, but there is a lot of demand for it. And repeat orders happen pretty frequently. So, offices grow, offices move, new hires come in. So repeat orders are very common. And then for medical, it is not as competitive as office furniture is, since it's so specialized. So you're able to margin more. And I think that was key for us during pandemic and post-pandemic years, that we were trying to survive this very this explosion in the market where we were office, and then we just had to pivot one day from the other. But thankfully everything went all right, and Stellar really did help us get into this new market, which now is part of our offerings to all of our clients, and we have grown it so much and done so many hospital projects. And then finally for home, I think this would be the one that we concentrate the least in, because of the fact that it is high in demand and it is profitable, but sometimes it's kind of hard to keep up with the ever-changing designs and so many different types of
Varieties.
Yeah, all of that. And the furniture is also very voluminous, so keeping inventory of that type of furniture might be harder than just office furniture.
Understood. So medical furniture came as a boon during the pandemic as a crisis management, but it helped you to establish a new industry vertical altogether, a new market.
For sure. Now it's one of our offerings. Yeah.
Understood. Since furniture and everything is a very customer preferred, or maybe a sensitive market where the preference plays a very important role. Having your business established in Honduras, which is in Central America, and now you are serving the customers of a neighborhood or nearby countries as well, because you have been exporting there as well. And now with the Guatemalan store, you must be dealing with different types and different mindset of customers altogether. How do you manage? And if you can just let everyone know about how customer preferences are changing with geographies, and how, as a dealer or a retailer, you are dealing with them, or you are trying to maintain the delight factor consistent across all geographies.
Right, yes. So it really does, as you say, depend on the country, all preference and what customers are looking for. I would think going a little more south, maybe Costa Rica, Panama, they focus more on aesthetics, on design, and all those things. And then I would say Honduras and Guatemala, maybe even El Salvador, focus more on practicality, functionality, durability. And so that's the way that you market your furniture. You try to, we have the Stellar, which is very innovative, but in Honduras, we market it more as very durable, very functional, and it is also aesthetically beautiful. Whereas I think if we would go to one of those countries that go for design more, that's where we would market the furniture and use the wording towards that. Right now that we're going towards Guatemala, since it's very similar to us, I think we would go kind of in the same way that we have with Honduras, and we'll test the market to see how they react to that. And I mean, maybe we even get surprised, mentalities are changing so much, and maybe they want more aesthetics and design into the offering. So I mean, we just pivot towards what the market is asking from us. And thankfully, Stellar allows us to do that.
Great. So aesthetics, designs, durability with different geographies, there are different demands. And again, the furniture retailer has to meet all the demands and market it according to the customer preference, if you can understand. Since you are into this business since so many years, and you have been managing a legacy brand, you must have seen a complete paradigm shift, like in last few years, especially with the rise of internet, with the rise of e-commerce, and after the pandemic shift, which you have already mentioned. There are many things in the market, in the mindsets that you have seen, like from this to that. How have you, or basically your business, have been managing such large scale events, or such changes in people's preferences, or maybe how the market shift from one way to another? How do you manage the balance between different sort of market preferences these days?
So I think it's what I said before about us being able to succeed for so many years, because we are constantly pivoting towards what the market is demanding for us. So as I mentioned, we started as manufacturers with very basic designs, but the market was already asking for something else. So then we started importing. And, when we started with that, it was when offices looked very much like heads down work, cubicles, modular, the walls. And that was the truth for many years. And that was what people looked for many years. And now I think a little pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, offices just took a whole turn. Open offices are now the new thing. Customers come to us and they're like, I want my office to be like Google. And it's just like this wide array of seating palettes. You have heads down work, you have privacy work, you have active learning, you have collaboration, some rest and lounge areas. So we're talking about all types of furniture, seating palettes, even like adjustable desks. Everything you can imagine is now part of our portfolio. So we really needed someone like Stellar, who's constantly innovating and keeping up with this very ever-changing market and supplying us with that. And yeah, I mean, basically that has been it, pivoting toward what the market is asking for us.
So the innovations and the inventory has to keep on updating according to the market trends and according to the customer demands.
Yeah, e-commerce, that's a big one too. Like being able to offer all of those things that they are asking for in a timely manner, having stock all the time to be able to fulfill those orders. It's a little more complicated now, but that's where the market is shifting, and well, we're keeping up with it.
jumping to my next question, which is coming from this statement of yours, just to manage the business during this dynamic shifts and dynamic trends which are getting setting and destroying every other day. The role of supplier is not just to provide you goods, or the role of supplier is not just to provide you product. As a retailer, what are your core expectations, or what are your core demands from the suppliers, which helps you to maintain and manage this business?
Yeah, so quality, reliability, timely deliveries, flexibility, everything that would signal to us that they are able to keep up and that they will be someone that we can depend on and we can have great communication with, a great relationship with, and they want to grow as much as we do. So I think working with tight deadlines and having quotations from one day to the other, because sometimes that's what customers ask for, and I'm like sending a long list of furniture items and I need the quotation for the next day, and then when that is approved, I'll need it as soon as possible to get to Honduras. So having someone who can really work against the clock with us, but knows that there will be, a really good result at the end of all of this.
There will always be a race against times.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood. There are many people who are actually starting their furniture business, or probably they are a small business right now, but looking at your business, looking at IPSA, they always aspire to maintain such kind of legacy and building such a big brand, just like you have developed in Honduras. What are your piece of advices that you can give to such kind of businesses who are probably starting right now, or maybe they are just looking to scale, to expand their business? What do you suggest?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, use those things that I mentioned before to find your supplier. If you haven't found one that's, that trust person for you, and if you do have one already, then work with them to build a strong long-term relationship, more than just someone who you buy from. This is teamwork, and think of it that way. I think, as I've mentioned so many times during this webinar, pivoting toward what the market asks for. And sometimes that will be a challenge, but if you do have a supplier who you can depend on and who will help you navigate these challenges in the market, then you have really set yourself up for success. So it all comes back to that supplier.
Great. Those were great insights. I believe I have just noted down key points from all your answers, which will be more like a Bible for a person who is going to, who want to scale into furniture business. As I'm just going to summarize this webinar, just for once again, I would like to open the window for all the people who have participated with us in the webinar. If you have any sort of questions, feel free to write in the chat box. Meanwhile, just to summarize what Ruth has told us during this webinar, as she mentioned, quoting her furniture business is a teamwork. So it's not just it cannot be just a one-person role to maintain or scale this business. It is always a teamwork. The dealers and retailers need to pivot as per the market's demands and asks. So we have to be very adaptive. We have to be very agile according to how fast we can innovate and how fast we can fulfill our customers' demand. Quality is always on the higher pedestal. The more quality and the best kind of marketing is basically providing quality products to your customers. So as much as we can emphasize on the quality, the business is going to stay there and it is going to grow. Relationship with supplier is very important because as I mentioned, it is a teamwork. If you want to fulfill the demands of your customer, the relationship with supplier is very important. Repeat order is something that is always very benefit to scale profitability in office furniture demands. In medical, since you were having less competition and it was a new market that you have evolved to or developed, that was something that probably other businesses should also learn to shift according to the market's demand rather than just being convinced with what has been served to. Preferences of customers generally changes with geography. It is very important for a retailer to be analytical, to understand and to observe what customers, according to what geographical location they are demanding, and change the offering, change the marketing accordingly. The businesses also need to invest more and more into trusted suppliers, because that's where the business is getting all the feed from. That is very important. I guess we have a question in the chat box, and it's a very interesting answer. Ruth, you would like to answer it? Who is your main competitors in the international brands?
So there was one more question before that. I'll go in order.
So okay, sorry, I missed the question.
You consider when choosing a supplier? Well, as I mentioned, quality, timely deliveries, good communication, of course, that is part of it. But something I had not mentioned before, and that is key, is that your supplier really gives you all the information about your product so that you can specify it to your customer as it is. When you're working these big projects, they'll probably ask you for all certifications that comes with the product, for their technical information, for materials, and having a supplier that really knows their product and can explain it to you and can send you all that information, that is a great selling point for the clients. And of course, when you're starting off, I know it's hard to work with suppliers that give you crazy MOQs, and finding someone that can give you both quality, price, and good MOQs to work with when you start is great, especially if you're going into a market that you don't know that much. That's going to be key. And then, who are your main competitors for international brands? So for us, really, we don't export internationally. Our e-commerce is very managed like locally. So our competitors are more local here in Honduras. And that's basically going to be the case in Guatemala when we go there. I think it's more going to be like a local competition. Of course, there's, you hear these big names sometimes coming into projects like Herman Miller and Steelcase and those big brands we all know of that sometimes participate in Honduran projects. But we're kind of going hand in hand here sometimes. I mean, we've won projects that they haven't won. So sometimes it's very much that the client is looking more for a price quality than this, like, I'm going to pay this really big price tag for this piece of furniture that might just work like any other.
Great. I think those were very good insights coming from you, Ruth. Thank you so much for joining us, Ruth, and sharing your insights, sharing your experiences. I'm sure this is going to be helpful for many people who are into furniture business and who are going to scale it. The next series of webinar is going to be, we are going to feature many more experts and veterans from the industry. The information will be posted directly to your mailbox or social media. Keep an eye over there. Till the next time, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in.